Colorado's new energy economy. Her record bespeaks a lifetime of committed to preserving Colorado's majestic environment, water, natural resources, agricultural economy, and to building strong rural communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Senator Gail Schwartz.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here, and of course, Dr. Earl, we are so extraordinarily grateful for what you have done for us for so long, and she is a very tough act to follow, needless to say. But I guess we'll just continue on a theme of water, because welcome to those of you not from our basin, those of you that are not from our community, but you are at the headwaters of the Colorado River. And you're at the headwaters of what we are fortunate to say serves so many states, approximately, I think, 16 states, but the Colorado River, in fact, serves 8 states. We have the upper basin states and the lower basin states. And the Colorado River starts as a trickle, and then it's joined by all these tributaries, and it became the mighty river, the mighty Colorado River. In 1922, we recognized that there needed to be a compact when it came to dealing with the waters that are flowing through our states, and found a way to agree on that. It's basically oversees over 1,400 miles of the Colorado River, and it also is an opportunity to allocate that water over time between our states. Unfortunately, in 1922, that was a high water mark, so to speak. It was a wet period that we were looking at flows in the Colorado River that we are unfortunately not seeing at the present time. So over 16 million acre feet per year flowed in that river, and we're seeing far less than that. Colorado needs to release about 70% of the water that flows in this state to address our compacts. We have approximately 8 compacts that regulate the water that leaves our state, including the Colorado River. So we have an opportunity to recognize our obligation for our downstream states, but also in 1944, we included the country of Mexico with another 1.5 million acre feet and meeting their obligation as well. So the Colorado River is certainly the lifeblood of our region. And we know water is the lifeblood of our state as well. But we have an opportunity to recognize that, again, the threats to water in this region, as climate will impact that over time, are very, very significant and very, very serious. The thoughts, and we've heard it through the course of these several days, that we could lose between 15 to 30% of the water that we currently see now. And that will, in fact, impact so many people, so many cities, so many municipal areas, as well as agriculture and our food production in this region. We've watched the state of California struggle with a record drought. Well, we too are also experiencing about a 15-year drought here in Colorado. So we recognize that the states that are in the upper basin states, including Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, parts of Arizona, and the lower basin states, California, Arizona, and Nevada. Well, we just hope that we never have to renegotiate that compact, because we would be on the losing end of it, given the population centers that rely on the Colorado River today. Not only the population centers, but also we have 22 federally recognized tribes, 7 national wildlife refuges, 4 national recreation areas, and 11 national parks. This is the legacy of our country and the legacy of our nation when it comes to supporting the West and what the Western United States benefits from when it comes to the flows of the Colorado River. I don't know if any of you have had the chance to read The Emerald Mile. That was a very significant time in our history of the United States, as we were determined to harness the mighty Colorado, to harness the energy, to harness the flows, and also then create a system that is probably the most plumbed river in the world, and create a system that produces over 4,000 megawatts worth of energy as it flows across the western United States. These are important for us to recognize that that energy that we thought we were harnessing is only at risk at this point in time. We see that the flows to Lake Powell and Lake Mead are at some of the most seriously low levels that we have seen in recent history. With respect to Lake Powell, and we have the Glen Canyon Dam, and the 1,300 megawatts produced on that dam, that we're seeing reductions of those flows over time, and that, thank you, and that the Glen Canyon Dam and Lake Powell are reaching dangerously low levels. As a matter of fact, the same effects as the Glen Canyon Dam flows into Lake Mead, and that is also reaching dangerously low levels. So probably many of you realize that we are seeing, especially at Lake Mead, this dead pool, this low water levels that now the city of Las Vegas is putting in new tunnels as we're watching those levels drop. And we also watch that the production of energy will also be greatly at risk. And that risk of it, that losing that energy that powers our cities, again, powers our agriculture, is a very great concern to us. All this will only be exacerbated as over time, as we watch our climate reduce the flows that will go into Lake Powell and will go into Lake Mead. And the mighty Colorado will not be as mighty as one may have thought during the time of the building of all the infrastructure that plumbed that great river. The Colorado River flowing into Lake Powell, we're just seeing annually reduced flows, but there is a level at which we will be losing the potential of that power, and that's the 3,487-foot level. That is something that people are watching with very, very close attention, because that only means that we have to look at alternative energy production. Obviously, hydro is a great resource for us. It's a clean baseload resource. We know that that infrastructure is in place, but it really will then require our utilities in the future to bring on other energy sources, and can we make up that baseload power? Can we make it up with clean, renewable power over time? That's a very significant issue. So let's talk a little more about how Colorado and our being at the headquarters is impacted as we see reduced flows. Colorado has had our own conversation, and that has come through, I don't know if many are aware of, these trans-mountain diversions. Again, that big infrastructure push, how we move water. So when you have 80% of the water on one side of the Continental Divide and 20% of the population versus 80% of the population on the other side of the Continental Divide, eyeing that water, sending over their engineers to claim this water, and only to be able to drill the tunnels and ship the water to the Front Range. That is and continues to be an ongoing issue for our state. And when you are sitting in Pitkin County, and then our fellow brothers and sisters over in Grand County, we are the most diverted counties in the state, and it is of great concern to us that we do not see any further trans-mountain diversions taking place moving forward. The Colorado has just gone through, for the first time, and probably one of the last states of the West, what is called the Colorado Water Plan. And in that plan, we're putting together more or less a baseline and an opportunity for us to frame our conversations moving forward. These are not the answers to all the questions, but these are the answers to providing us with a framework as we look at those issues moving forward. We are asking, as citizens of the Western Slope, to our brothers and sisters on the Eastern Slope, look at issues in terms of conservation and efficiency, and utilizing the water that is put through those tunnels, not to grow your lawns and create beautiful beautiful landscapes on the front range, but to recognize that every drop that moves across there is a drop of water that is not left in our basins, in our rivers, to address our ecosystems and the potential agriculture and other industries that are the future of the Western Slope as well. So this balance is what we're trying to strike. And what this balance is anticipating as we move forward as a state that we could have as much gap of about over 500,000 acre feet of water. We know that when you have a constrained resource, that we're not going to find more water. As a matter of fact, we're going to be finding less and less water. So what does that mean when we're talking about the basins of Western Colorado and the beautiful environment that we're so very proud of? What does that mean to our water quality and our water quantity, both today and moving forward and looking at the future? Because it continues to be not only the lifeblood of the West, but it also continues to be the lifeblood of our state, and it continues to be the lifeblood of Western Colorado. When we think of the water that is utilized in our state, approximately 86% of that water is dedicated to agriculture. And the other 14% is dedicated to our municipal use and our communities. So with respect to that 86%, people think, well, why don't we just dry up some of that agricultural land, because then we'll have plenty for our cities to use, plenty for our community to use. But you have to understand what agriculture means to our valleys, to our basins. And that also is not just thinking about a few farms that could use a little less water, and we can transfer that water either to the Front Range or move it off the land, drying that land up. But that water and that landscape is so critical to us because it is fundamental to our economy as we look at the opportunity for conserved lands and open landscapes, but it also is function of our supporting an ecosystem and our habitat and storing that water. We were talking about the opportunity for preserving water well and addressing climate change and looking at how agriculture has an opportunity at a role. And that sequestration of just carbon, but also it is a reservoir for our water as we look at our groundwater tables have been, reduced at such a phenomenal rate that it's a very, very serious concern, the health of our rivers, the health of our environments, the health of our ecosystem, as we are pumping and overutilizing the water that we have available to us. The Colorado River is an over-appropriated system. Too many people using too much water. But we are at the headwaters, and we are paying some of the biggest price when it comes to our downriver uses, our down valley uses, because it is threatening our recreation industry that relies on the health of our rivers, the health of our environment, and our fishing, and our ecosystems, and our habitats, and our wildlife. Secondly, it also is a function of protecting our agriculture and that landscape and those important uses of our land and that economy. So as a closing, Colorado's already seen tremendous impact when it comes to water in our state, and that is only going to become worse over time. It's affecting not only our rivers, but our rivers' temperatures, our ecosystems, but it's also impacting our forests. We see approximately 6 million acres of standing dead timber in the state of Colorado as a result of climate change. That climate change has created all in our different forests, be it spruce beetle or lodgepole, different insect infestations. That is a very, very significant concern for us, not just because of the standing dead timber, which will blow down, fall down, and threaten, but also that is a function of giving more for wildfires moving forward. We're very concerned that Colorado needs to, again, bring in balance, but to address our ability to diversify and protect our water, to make sure we're using it most wisely, both in our agriculture and in our communities, and facing the fact that it's not going to be the same that people had expected, and there's going to have to be some adaptation, some diversification that will preserve us, our water and our water uses long term. It's a serious conversation. And on the heels of looking at our oceans, we're also needing to look at our rivers and our water environments on our land as well. Thank you so much.